Welcome back, Soulful Society, to Soulful of Wellness,
the multi-generational podcast brought to you by two functional imperfectionists
and certified coaches
who deliver tips to help you live your most authentic, balanced, and anxiety-free life. One of our important roles as coaches is to help clients celebrate success along their journeys. This applies to even very small wins. So in the spirit of celebration, today we are each going to share a personal story from this past weekend. You'll see exactly what we mean by no win too small to honor.
Definitely. This led into a conversation about how we can live a fuller, richer life, whether it's a small step outside of your comfort zone to try a new activity or a literal dive into uncharted water. Today's episode will help you enrich your daily experience and hopefully feel more excited about life. Let's get into it.
Thank you for joining us again for another week of wellness goodness. If you're new here at the Soulful Society, welcome and thanks for being here. We'd love to have you as a regular listener, so if you enjoyed today's podcast, please consider subscribing or following, as they say these days, so you'll get a new episode of Wellness delivered automatically every Thursday morning.
If you haven't yet rated and reviewed Soulful of Wellness, now's your chance. We would love to have you help us out by tapping that 5th star and providing a few words of feedback. What do you think about the podcast? What do you want to hear next? On that note, we would love your feedback about our studio. We are still recording from our closets. Well, Kit, you're in your room.
I'm on my bed.
I'm in my closet, in my new home, and we are so excited that this is the year that our studio is being built. So if you have any fun suggestions or things you'd like to see, we are also going to be ramping up and doing video content this year. We're so excited, so let us know. What do you want to see? What color should our studio be? Email us at sfowpodcast@gmail.com or DM us on Instagram.
So I know we're always asking you for input, for feedback, for episode ideas, and thank you to all the people who've either emailed us at sfowpodcast@gmail.com or DM'd us on Instagram, Soulful of Wellness with underscores in between each word, or whatever way you've gotten in touch with us. We love hearing from you, no matter what it is. Special thank you to the people who had a specific idea that we were able to convert to a podcast episode. We've just very recently had a couple people with a variation on a theme, and we kind of joined you all up. And as you know, podcast ideas come from our daily lives. So we're going to start out by each sharing a story from this past weekend of a time we each stepped out of our respective comfort zones. But a few people wrote in to say, I don't have a specific idea because there's not something identifiably wrong, not something I can point to and be like, okay, I need to work on this or I need help with this. But I know something's also not right because I've just been feeling kind of yucky or off or generally blah about life lately. That tied in nicely to our celebrating small wins, stepping outside the comfort zone. So we combined it all into a cohesive manner that is today's episode. Welcome. Thanks for being here. And if this episode resonates and you know someone else who would enjoy it, feel free to ship this episode on to them.
Totally. So when it comes to exploring your interests, we kind of gathered from this theme of feeling blah or unmotivated, and we've all been there. This is so incredibly relatable. We kind of associated that with the opposite of exploring your interests, like diving into what excites you. You know, what is truly soulful to you?
Passion. What can you get behind?
It's all about going deep to discover or rediscover what truly lights you up inside. So we think the key to having a fulfilled life is finding activities that challenge you a little bit. They teach you about yourself and in the end enrich your everyday experiences. If we continue to play it safe, keep the status quo, and not take calculated risks, we're just going to end up in the exact same place, which can leave us feeling demotivated and not exactly tied to our wellness journey or inspired.
Pushing yourself outside your comfort zone, increasing the level of difficulty, and going deeper in your exploration of hobbies will give you that sense of accomplishment that only comes when you've really challenged yourself. When you test the limits, you'll discover something great and maybe even something you didn't think was possible.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to start today's episode by each trying to give the short version, if possible, of what our experience was while still capturing what, enough detail that you know what that has to do with today's topic. So, Kaylin, do you want to start us off? Because yours is a little more, I don't want to say dramatic because it's not dramatic, but yours was a little more out of the everyday life.
Mm-hmm. Well, my friends, I had a panic attack last weekend. And you know what? I knew it was coming. Interestingly enough, a little bit of backstory. In my adult life, about a year ago, I developed this new fear of the vastness and the depth of the ocean, along with its critters. I had a pretty bad panic attack while snorkeling with my husband in Turks and Caicos. It hit me out of nowhere. Actually, it hit me as soon as I got in the water. And I wasn't actually sure what was happening. I just was hyperventilating. I could not breathe. So I took this to my therapist. We talked about it. We worked on it. I went on my honeymoon, very well knowing I was also going to an island again, going to be in the same situation. I know you may be kind of thinking, why are you putting yourself in these situations that you know are going to cause you panic? Well, I ultimately determined through a sort of risk analysis, what is going to take me out of my comfort zone that's going to allow for personal growth and what's not worth the risk. I conquered that fear. I took my baby steps and I did it. Fast forward to this past weekend, I had another opportunity to face this fear again and go snorkeling. I worked on it with my therapist pretty briefly because I had felt like I have had the opportunity to overcome this fear. I did it in the Maldives. I can do this.
You had one win under your belt. Like the most recent version of this experience was in the win column.
First thing was a panic attack. Second thing was a win. Third opportunity, I was hoping to be another notch on my belt, another win, another little confidence boost of getting over this fear because I felt like the risk definitely outweighed staying in my comfort zone and being scared because I love the ocean.
And FOMO is real and everyone else is doing it. And you don't want to beat yourself up later because you wimped out. All this, messages we send ourselves.
Totally. So I had preparation on my side, but I didn't really cover too much in therapy because I kind of just wanted to go in it with confidence while knowing that it was a fear. And so I said, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to face it and we're going to see what happens. I also had the confidence of knowing I had 4 of my best friends in the water that were going to be there with me. And even a few of them saying, I'll hold your hand, literally. So we get in and I have an immediate panic attack. But I got to say, it was a smaller panic attack. And I kept telling myself, breathe, breathe. You can do this. Just breathe. While my friends are holding my hand. And I got through it. I got back on the boat. And my body and mind felt more calm than ever. It was this wave of calm over me. And I was happy that I did it and felt a lot more free for the rest of the day.
And that's a win worthy of a celebration. You made progress and you persevered and you called on your tools and your abilities and you utilized the things that you've learned and practiced to have this, albeit imperfect, success.
Mm-hmm. One of my tools that I learned from my therapist was the mantra and the fact that I'm scared and I'm doing it anyway. So I didn't have to fake it and sort of be like, I'm super brave and like, whatever, I don't care. It was very much, I'm scared and I'm doing it scared. And that really builds confidence in yourself and excites you. It keeps you, Makes you feel alive.
All right, I have if I can do this, it's an example of the type of thing anybody can do with a little push from within, outside your comfort zone, not earth-shaking, but so good. I took a cooking class. Da 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 da. We made mocha eclairs and we made raspberry profiteroles, all out of choux pastry dough. Hope you're salivating because I think I am a little.
I am.
Mine were delicious. Probably everyone's were delicious, but mine were delicious. I loved it. Made them again. Have given them to several people, all of whom have given glowing positive feedback. Yes, you expect your friends to say, those are great, Kit. Thank you. But no, I got like really specific, detailed praise. I think I have found my new thing. I have already registered for the next baking class, which is donuts. I will be doing that in 2 weeks. I'll let you know if my donuts are beautiful and delicious too. I'm so proud of myself. I might just become a professional pastry chef. Stay tuned.
And all it took was just a little step outside of your comfort zone and an action step towards something that you felt guided towards. Your soul had that little tingle.
Yes.
This sounds like a cool idea. Let me try it. And look what it's brought to you. Now you're going to go again.
I'm thrilled. It is proof positive to me that putting myself in a position to potentially feel a little uncomfortable can be worth it. There was no big downside. Even though it felt scary to me, it was so worth it. Even if 1 in 10 things leave me feeling this way, it's worth the other 9.
Yeah.
I just am so happy to have found a new, really cool, fun hobby that, by the way, also connects to so many other unexpected areas of my wellness wheel. Connection with others, the fact that I can't possibly eat all the things I plan to make, so I will be giving them to other people who are going to feel so happy about it. I'm using my brain. It's playing to my strengths of perfectionism, which sometimes can come in handy.
Measurements, yeah.
Exactly. Measuring things, counting, being precise, taking my time, being really super careful. Those are all things I really enjoy.
This is making my heart smile. This is true soulfulness, is finding an activity that you can do in solitude even, that really reconnects yourself to your soul and your spirit. It has nothing to do with anything but enjoyment. And I feel like that's a part of the wellness wheel that often gets overlooked. We think about sleep, nutrition, all these types of things, movement.
Fitness, yeah.
Yeah, and we're not paying attention to enjoyment.
Yes. I honestly feel... It's going to sound so dramatic, but I feel more excited about the future and about life. Like, I have plans to make choux pastry in the very near future and make more eclairs and have more people try them and give me feedback and try some other flavors. And I want to go places with this. And even if I didn't, that would be okay too. But I have to tell you, this is the most excited I've felt about something new in probably since we started this podcast. So 3 years.
Wow.
And that's kind of the theme of what we're talking about today, is stepping out of your comfort zone, trying something that feels a little scary for a richer, fuller, more enjoyable life. And you won't know until you try it.
Paying attention to that little glimmer, that little whisper. We talked about intuition, being able to discern that from fear, other voices in your head, like your inner critic. We talked about that a few episodes back. And it's the same thing here, is listening to that soft tap. That's interesting to me. And motivation begets motivation. Action begets more action. So just by taking that little step outside of your comfort zone, there's a principle in John Kabat-Zinn's 7 Principles of Mindfulness of beginner's mindset. And there's something so enriching about that. Even taking a walk, taking the path least traveled by, or driving without the GPS, or going a different route, or trying something new. like what you did.
Yes.
Feeling that spark, like, I don't know, maybe I want to try that pottery class. Okay, I'm just going to book it. That allows for more magic in your life.
And I think that's why we got so excited about sharing our stories today, to show people what can come of even just a little baby step of something new that feels scary. Don't let anybody tell you that's not scary, because if it's scary to you, it's scary.
It's scary, yeah.
If 9 times out of 10 you do it and are like, well, that's not for me, that's okay. It's worth it when you get the hit.
Definitely. It's like being able to discern, is this bad for my wellness? Or is this experience, this scary experience, this risk, actually what I need to bring me out of my blah state, and out of the comfort zone and into a new dimension, a new path, new discovery, more excitement in my life.
I can give an example of something along the same vein that I tried. This was also a good 25 years ago. I decided I wanted to learn pottery. So I took a pottery class, and I wanted to do the kick wheel. I didn't want an electronic wheel. I wanted really to figure, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be so great. I'm going to make presents for everybody. They're going to love it. They're going to be so excited to get things to put on their living room built-ins. It's going to be great. I had big plans. I was so colossally terrible. At the end of the series of classes, I was the only one who didn't have something fireable worthy of putting in the kiln. And that's okay. As you can hear in my voice, I am not beating myself up about this. Not everything is for everyone. And as much as I wanted pottery to be for me, it wasn't for me. I don't regret taking that class. Otherwise, it would still be on my to-do someday list. I'm proud of myself for trying it. Tried it. Not for me. Now I know. Moved on.
Yeah, and there's always lessons in those trying things that don't work out, and there's always laughable, funny stories that can come from those. So it's really generally a win-win. I'm trying to think of the last time I did something new. I know I wanted to do watercoloring in the winter when I was in my survival mode, which is also an important caveat to touch upon. There's a difference between stagnation and needing to leave your comfort zone and push yourself a little bit, and knowing when you're in a season of life or a traumatic event or your crisis, or you're just dealing with something really tough, when you need to be gentle with yourself and you need to go easy.
And maybe it's not the best time to be trying something new, because you do want to be prepared. You want to set yourself up to be successful, and there are times that you're in a better position for that. You're absolutely right.
Right.
I think I know the last time you tried something new and scary, when you wrote and recorded a song that, for you out there, is now available on iTunes.
Sand in my Vans.
Was that just last summer, or was that the summer before? It had to be the summer before. It was 2
summers ago. So I think in my wedding planning, plus 10 other weddings and 5 bachelorettes last year, I would say the new thing I tried was planning a wedding and dealing with all of that. And decision making was a big area of growth. But you're so inspiring me. I'm really excited. I want to try something new, because it really does enrich our lives and just adds a little bit of spice. If you're feeling general malaise or blah, just try something different.
Yeah.
And whatever it is, it's probably already sparked in your mind already once or twice, and the synchronicities are telling you, try it.
And you can just Google. I typed in baking classes near me. That was the start. And as much as part of my perseveration in registering for the class was, well, I'd feel better if I knew somebody who went there and said it's a good place and that it's clean. What if it's yucky? You know. And then I thought, oh my gosh, it is 2.5 hours of my life. The class was $100. I was like, this is not a big risk. Yes, it feels like it, but honestly, it's not. The only way I'm going to find out is by doing it. And sometimes you just got to do it.
So remember, taking a little step outside of your comfort zone can be that next step towards joy and enriching your life, getting yourself out of that feeling disconnected to your wellness journey. Just try a little something different Try a new hobby, do it with a friend, do it in solitude, and see what comes of it. Get curious with beginner's mindset.
Embrace the chance to sit legitimately in beginner's mindset, not judge and not compare, and just say, I am a beginner. I have no reasonable expectation of performing at a high level. I'm going to do it and get what I get.
And even if it's celebrating the fact that you booked it, celebrate it. We will celebrate with you. DM us. Let us know. We want to celebrate the small wins with you because they're so important and they keep you motivated along your journey. So don't forget to celebrate the small wins. We love you so, so much. And we'll see you next week.
Peace, love, and light.
Peace, love, and light.
The Soulful of Wellness hosts are certified health and wellness coaches. This podcast is intended to inform and entertain listeners on their wellness journey. This podcast is meant to enhance, not replace, listeners' care from doctors, therapists, or other medical providers.